Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Trauma Drama Series. I am your host, Brooklyn, and today we're going to take the rodeo outside. I was just up here journaling, and something told me to just get my camera and just document it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not really quite sure what this episode is going to be about. Yes, I do. I'm lying. Forgiving yourself. That's what this episode is going to be about, self-forgiveness. So let's come over here and get set up with me. You guys want to see the beautiful view? I'll just go this way so you guys can see the beautiful view. I love it here, man. Like, fucking love it here. It's gonna sit us right here on the roof. Okay. Boom. Here we go. I hope you guys can hear me okay, because the birds chirping, the wind, it's just everything. Mexico is loud, y'all. Like, it's paradise, yes, but it's loud. You'll hear dogs, you'll hear birds. I swear the birds speak Spanish here. You hear them? I swear the birds speak Spanish. It's so funny. So y'all already know what we got to get into before we get into anything, which is our prayer. So let's bow our heads and reiterate this message that God has for us. Dear God, as I speak to your people, please speak through me. Take over my temple and allow your words to penetrate our souls, releasing us from the shackles of the spiritual warfare we have been enduring. Allow each message to walk us closer to our abundant inheritance. In Yahweh's name we pray. Amen. That prayer, first and foremost, y'all, that was a download that God gave me a few weeks ago. He said, listen, sis, before you jump on camera, before whatever, this is what I want you to say. So if y'all wonder why we do that, it's because God told me to. So we're going to do it. And I apologize if my eyes are squinty. The sun is literally right here. I was just meditating, journaling, and I like to sit in the sun so the sun can cleanse my pineal gland. I like to sunbathe, which is another reason why I moved to where it's always sunny, because the sun is healing. A lot of people always compliment me when I come back to Mexico, like, you're glowing. And I'm just like, because Black people, melanated individuals, we are not supposed to be in the cold. They call it the Caucasus Mountains for a reason, my boy. But that's neither here nor there. Today, I really want to talk about forgiving yourself, self-forgiveness. I was up here, and on my last episode, I talked about my journey with smoking weed and how that has taken 12 years of my life for me to recover from that. And when I started smoking weed, it was like a really, really tragic, terrible time for me. I was just over things. I was over it. I was just over it. I didn't have a good relationship with my mother. I was basically taking care of a child that wasn't mine. Love him to death. I still love him to death. He is mine, but he's not at the end of the day. And that's a lot, especially when that person has two parents and you technically only have one. So emotionally, that does something to you as well. But I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive my parent. I had to forgive the situation. I just couldn't hold on to that no more. Carrying on that weight, that baggage is just a lot. That shit is heavy for real. And it's not necessary. So I was writing today in my book, and I kind of almost teared up a little bit, because we always talk about all the things that people have done to us, but we never talk about the things that we do to ourselves. Yes, my mother did all of those things. Yes, his dad didn't do anything, technically. And 444. Look at God. But at the end of the day, I was the one who chose. Yeah, my friend initiated it, to make you feel better. But I was ultimately the one who picked up the blunt, who continued to pick up the blunt, who continue to do self-harm to myself, who continue to engage in these festivities that I knew were not making me better as a woman, as a young woman at that time. Um, and it's important to realize that, like, yes, other people hurt us, but at the end of the day, we hurt ourselves by not setting healthy boundaries with those people, by engaging in things that we know we shouldn't engage in, by engaging with people, places, things. That goes for anything and everybody, honestly. And even with full transparency with my relationship, like I literally just broke up with my boyfriend a few days ago. I can get through anything in a relationship. Like, I'm talking about anything because I understand people and I understand that none of us are perfect. But one thing that I cannot do is not communicate. Like, when someone constantly shuts you out or shuts you down or doesn't want to hear you, or just constantly talks over you, I find that as disrespectful. And I solely broke up with him just for that reason alone. Like, he's such a great man, so whoever got him next, good luck. Because he's phenomenal, he really is. But that I'm not dealing with. And for me, I can sit here and say, oh, he's da 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 da. Like, no, he's a great man, he's phenomenal, he's sensational. Like, I love, my black men and things like that. And I had to forgive myself for allowing that to happen to me. Like, how can I be pointing a finger at him when I should have been pointing a finger at myself whole time? Like, you knew that he had issues with communication. You knew that he shut you out when you try to speak. You knew all of these things. So why would you waste 6 years of your life with somebody and you know how they are? And we do that because we want to see the best in people. We think that people are going to change. We think that people are going to grow. But at the end of the day, we're hurting ourselves. Like, we are hurting ourselves. And then we get out of these relationships and talk trash about people when in all actuality, it was you that put up with it in the first place. You have to take accountability for the things that you have done. You have to take accountability and responsibility for allowing those things to happen to you, for you allowing that in your life. And that's why I never talk bad about anybody I was ever in a relationship with. Friendships, relationships, jobs. Like, you'll never hear me really talk bad about people. Like, I'm first of all, I'm just really not that person, to keep it a being with you. I'm not. Like, life is like, you see where the fuck I live at? Like, and I did this for myself. Like, I did this for myself, which is why I just, personally, it's really hard for me when people try to play victim or victimize themselves, or, oh, this happened to me, that happened to me. Like, y'all will constantly hear me say that you are the co-creator of your life. Y'all will hear me say that throughout so many episodes until it sticks in your brain, so you understand that you are the co-creator of your life. You can either sit back and allow someone else to create that portion that you're supposed to be co-creating, or you can get up, work with Yahweh, work with God, the universe, whatever, Allah, whatever you call that being for you, and create something for yourself that you will be proud of, that your younger self will be proud of, that your older self will be proud of. Like, you have to do that for you. You owe that to yourself. You gotta forgive yourself. And that's with anything, because we've all done some bad things, whether it was drugs, stuck in relationships for too long, abortions, fucking murders. Like, because it's going to be somebody who called a body that watch my shit. Like, I know the type of people that I attract. I attract real motherfuckers who go through real things. And it's okay. Forgive yourself for that. Even if the intent behind pulling that trigger wasn't even your idea, somebody placed that inside of you for whatever reason, whether it was gang related or, come on, bro, I need you to handle this, or whatever, like, whatever. Forgive yourself for that. It's hard. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like it's not, but you'll feel so much better when you just forgive yourself. Like, we always look externally for the things that we really need to be doing internal work on. We be looking for these apologies from people that we're never going to receive. You got to forgive yourself. It's imperative. And I just wanted to read one of my journal prompts. This is my journal, one of my journals, child, because God knows I got many of them motherfuckers. But this what I picked up here in Mexico. I love it. Flowing. And that's really all I've been doing in this motherfucker is flowing. I almost need a new one. I'll say probably by like February I'll need another one. But I want to read something to you all. That was the day I stopped smoking, which was a few days ago. But I feel great, and I'll never go back to it. That was a way of me harming myself. Like a lot of people, we all like to say that weed ain't a drug, but it is. It absolutely is. Or the way that we consume it is. I'm not gonna say that weed is an actual drug. It's a medicine. But the way that we consume it, we abuse it like a drug. Which I had to get out of that. But this is the journal prompt that I wanted to read for you all. It's called The People Pleaser. Ooh, he told me to read the whole thing. God just told me to read the whole thing. All right, let me be vulnerable with y'all. I'll read y'all my journal prompt. All right. So this was written on January 4th of 2023. I write all my dates because one day I'm going to turn I have journals from when I was like fucking 8. I'm going to turn my journals into a book because like I keep saying to myself, I won't allow anybody to tell my story. I'm going to tell my story. Because if I'm not telling my story, it's going to be history. Don't let that go over y'all heads. I just realized something while watching a Surviving Vegan Detox Challenge replay. This session spoke about emotional triggers, eating habits, and spiritual release. When I was home in the States, it was easy for me to start the challenge, but hard for me to continue the challenge. For some reason, I kept eating fast food, and anything that's happening physically is happening mentally and spiritually. And this time while in Mexico, I haven't even started or found the courage to start. I kept ordering more fast food, even though all the products I need for this detox are prepared and in my kitchen. I have faced an abandonment wound that I didn't even know I had until now. When I was a child, I was very much loved, but I had a father who was incarcerated and a single mother who worked all the time. I went to private school as a kid, and it was mandatory for us to provide our own lunches. Mainly everyone packed their lunch except for me, of course. I was almost always the only one. Instead of packing my lunch, because she didn't have the time most days, my mom would drop off McDonald's to me for school. At the time, I didn't think anything of it, and honestly, most of the other kids were a little jealous that I had a Happy Meal and they had cold sandwiches. But I never knew a part of me felt abandoned. The feeling that my mother didn't have enough time to cook dinner most nights or prepare my school lunch most mornings. She operated in her masculine to survive, and I found myself carrying on through my life with the same mentality. I have been operating in my masculine, not allowing myself to love me, cook for me, nourish me, because of the lack thereof in childhood from my parents and the ignorance of not knowing the trauma I have carried. I forgive myself. I forgive my parents. Now that I know the source of my trauma, and I am working on eating better, being more aware of my triggers, and slowing down and really taking the time to cleanse myself. And for me, I'm sorry, y'all. I told y'all these PTSD moments be coming to me. Let me gather myself real quick. Hold on. And for me, I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive myself. Because when you think back to certain traumas, certain things that we resent our parents for, our boyfriends or girlfriends for, or whatever, children, spouses, husbands, ex-husbands, whatever. Most of the time, people are only going to love you to the extent that they love themselves and to the extent to which they know how to love. And 9 times out of 10, that's not the way that you want to be loved or that you need to be loved. So that's why it's important to forgive yourself so you can learn to love yourself. Because when you love yourself, you attract that more into your life. Like, the best way that I can explain it is you attract what you are. That's the simplest way I can put it, is that you attract what you are. So if you want to attract different, you have to be different. And in order to be different, you have to choose different. And in order to choose different, you have to know that the choice is yours. Know that the choice is yours. A lot of people don't think that the choice is theirs. We've been convinced, conditioned, bred in a way to where we think that our lives are outside of our control. And that's simply not true. Now, granted, your life is not your own. And what I mean by that is all those things that I've went through, I went through those things so I could be able to share my testimony and help other people. I will have children one day. I have nephews, brother, sister, mom, uncle, grandma. My great grandma called me this morning. All praises due to the Most High. She is such a beautiful woman. She cracks me up. I gotta make sure I bring her some peaches when I come home back to the States. Uncle called me this morning. Like, I don't wake up every day just for me. You don't wake up every day just for you. It's people who are inspired by you. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm so emotional today. It's people who are inspired by you. It's people that you are inspired by. And once we get out of the mentality that we feel so secluded, like we're the only ones going through this, or that we are the only ones who've been through certain things, or that's just simply not true. It's simply not true. As above, so below, we are all connected. And I'm just happy that I'm brave enough to bring up these conversations, because boy, when I tell you, like, I know so many people want to, not even want to, y'all have these conversations behind closed doors, and you still feel unheard because it's not out in the open. You feel like you got to keep it a secret. Like, y'all ever did that? Like, y'all got siblings or cousins, let's just say your mom do something, or your grandparents or your dad, you know what I mean? It's just like a trait that they got. So like you and your siblings come, or like you and your cousins come together and like talk y'all little shit behind closed doors, and then you gotta act normal. I can't do that no more. I never was really the one to do that shit in the first place, which is why I'm here in Mexico. Had to get my own shit because I'm just not going for certain things anymore. I can't. The world that I'm creating depends on me doing this, being vulnerable, putting myself out there, sharing my experiences, telling y'all that, like, you're not alone. You gotta forgive yourself. The world is your oyster, and you are the co-creator of your reality. It don't matter where you at, what you're doing. If you want to change your story, that's gonna be up to you. I don't care if you got kids, animals. You got to take care of a elder, like a grandfather, grandmother, uncle, aunt, whatever. still get up every day and be the best version of yourself and know that you can forgive yourself. It's possible. It might not be easy, but it is absolutely possible. And it really all starts with you. That's it. I want to keep this one short. I don't even know how long this video is. And I really wasn't even planning on making this video today. But, you know, whenever God calls, I gotta be about my Father's business. Y'all hear me say that again. Shout out to Latoya Okia, one of my spiritual mentors. And again, that lady probably doesn't even know. That lady probably don't even know. I watch her every single day. I've watched her in some of my darkest moments. I've watched her in some of my greatest moments. I've been following her for about 2 years now. Never met this woman a day in my life. But she has changed me in a way that gratitude can't even, like, words can't even express how much those videos have changed me in such a fucking positive way. That's why when God was like, nah, you gotta be the one to do this, I'm like, huh? Me? My boy. You want me to talk about that? He said, yeah. I said, bet. Bet, I got you. I got you, because it's gonna be some little girl out there, some little boy out there, some grown woman out there, some grown man out there that's gonna watch these fucking videos and be like, yo, she changed me. And it's not even me. I'm just doing my Father's business. You gotta be about your Father's business. Because if you're not, you're in the devil's playground, and that's not a place you want to be. It's not a place you want to be. It might be fun for a little bit. Trust me, we all been there. I've been there. I ain't gonna sit here and pretend like I'm just this holy sanctified motherfucker. Listen, my boy. I've been there. But I like it here better. I love it here. I'm sitting here talking to y'all. A sports bra on, bucket hat, middle of the day, sitting under the sun on my fucking rooftop, bitch, in Mexico. It still blows my mind that I created this for myself. Still. And you can too, whatever you want. Whatever you want. Just forgive yourself. You gotta open up that space. You gotta open up them energy portals. You gotta clear out them chakras, man. You gotta make sure that they spinning. Not too fast, not too slow, but just right. You gotta clear that solar, which is why I sit under the sun. Your solar plexus deals a lot with your confidence, with your self-esteem, with how you feel about yourself, about other people. And then right above that is your heart. And your heart is right in the center. So once you get these two connected, it's like it connects the bottom base to the top base. Your heart is the centerpiece. A lot of people just be vibrating in the lower chakras, which is your root chakra, the survival, the constant fight or flight. A lot of people don't make it up to the heart. Because then once you get to the heart, you get to the throat, which is speech, we all know. And then from the throat, we got the third eye, which is your intuition. And then from the third eye, you got your crown. And then from your crown, you got the stuff. We ain't even, listen. I can go on and on for days about this shit, man. But I just wanted to keep it short. Every time I get on here, I talk about it short. This motherfucking video, 26 minutes. I'm logging off. I love y'all. I love y'all, man. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Don't be looking for forgiveness from other people, man. Forgive yourself for allowing other people to even think that they can play with you. Forgive yourself for that. I love y'all, and I will see y'all on another episode of the Trauma Drama series. I'm out.